I might just need to be like...
Oh yeah, that's a stinger for the show right there.
That's for you, AJ.
Thank you.
Hello, and welcome to Not Even Once.
I'm Seth, and I've seen once.
And I'm Bob, and I've seen once twice.
Welcome to our show. We are talking today about Once Upon a Time, Episode 3.
From Season 1. What was it called? It was Snow Falls.
Yes, Snow Falls. Previously, the last episode, we saw it starred Emma, and the plot is happening, but it's really all about Regina.
Yes, I mean, who do we care about?
It was basically just a bunch of mic drop moments between Emma and Regina saying, your move.
Yeah, like, here, I'm gonna boot your car. Oops. Drive over to my office.
Or walk, whatever.
It's just like the sheer bitchiness of it, I love it.
And then cutting down the limb of the tree.
Oh, direct action. I love it. I love her.
Your move. But that was the things we love most. This now episode is Snow Falls.
Right. So Snow Falls was directed by Dean White and was written by Liz Tigelaar, I believe. She previously worked on Dawson's Creek, and also, and I like noticed this because I was like, oh, I know this show. She wrote some episodes of Totally Spies, which that was my reaction when I found that out. Now, all I need to do is just wait for, like, Emma to do, like, the compact laser thing.
Yes, to cut open a door.
Of course. Yeah, put two compacts together, fire a laser at them, and then turn them into the thing. You know, how spies work.
Exactly.
But, yeah, no, so, and I believe Liz Tigelaar does come back and she writes quite a few episodes of the show.
Cool.
So she is, like, one of the regular writers.
Fantastic. Was there any more about the episode stats?
Oh, yeah. This is the first episode that was not written by the showrunners.
Gotcha.
So, you know, I mean, they obviously had a hand in the story, but, like, this is the first episode that's not credited to them, so it's worth pointing out.
The episode opens with a CGI deer. A deer.
I have, my first note is clearly a real deer at the beginning. Mm-hmm. Definitely. Absolutely a real deer.
It almost nearly looks like it might be resembling a deer's movements if you never saw one before and had never heard of the Uncanny Valley.
Yeah, they didn't have mocap for this. This was a deer. It was a real deer. I don't know what you're talking about.
It was perfect. No notes. Then we see on this carriage, we see some guards wearing some Monty Python looking gear.
Yeah, they're the good guards. They're not like Regina's guards, as you can tell, because they're not wearing like black ski masks.
They're not wearing black. There's no feathers.
Right, and it's an all white stagecoach.
Yep. Inside that stagecoach, we see Prince Charming and what looks to be Ricky from Garfunkel and Oates.
Oh, she does very much look like Ricky Lindholm.
It's
like, really, really does.
I did a double take, and it's not her, but I wish it was.
And like one of the guards calls her, it's like one of the guards or someone calls her the nag with the bad attitude or something. No, it's Snow White.
Snow White calls her that later.
And my note was, the nag with the bad attitude sucks.
As we will see more of later on. We see that it is the prince. We see that she is kind of snotty, rolling her eyes at everything, and they're going over the troll bridge. They're coming up to the troll bridge.
Right.
Noting that it happens multiple times. And they come across a tree. Oh no, what is happening? And so the prince has to get out and examine along with all the guards. And while he's examining, wait, what is this? What's wrong, my lord? It's thump. Dot 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 dot. It's an ambush. They turn around and someone has stolen this pouch that the prince very specifically left out in the open.
Yeah, just sitting in it's like riding public transit and just like leaving an engagement ring box, which as we find out that is what it is, just sitting on your seat. Like, just in the middle of the thing.
And there's no reaction from the nag.
Who, we just know her as Blonde Woman right now.
She is just... Ricky Lindholm does not react until there is a scream and someone is running away. We go back to the present and we see Mary on a date. And they're talking about she wants to be apparently the next Duggar family and have like 15 kids. No, I was just joking.
She's used to being with 7 other people in the house.
That's why she's a teacher, because she's used to teaching short people.
Who don't age, apparently.
Exactly. No, she doesn't want 15 kids. She just teaches that. And then Red Riding Hood is showing off her cakes.
I specifically said Ruby waiting tables in the diner with at least 6-inch red heels and booty shorts. Iconic behavior, serving body. Like, what a true icon. Like, she's gorgeous.
I think this is the first time that we were actually told that her name is Ruby.
I think in the pilot episode when Granny and Ruby are fighting, it might have come up. I don't remember for sure, though.
Yeah, I don't remember the name coming up, but here it is officially said she is Ruby, not just Red Riding Hood.
Right. If you weren't aware, I mean, they give it away in the first episode, but like, if you weren't sure, this is Red Riding Hood.
Yes. And so I'm sitting there thinking, Mary, it's been 28 years. Who are you dating in this town? Who is left for you to date after being here for 28 years? But I guess...
You know.
After she leaves, because he's staring at Ruby serving, Mary finds Emma getting ready to sleep in her car.
Yeah, just chilling.
Yep. Offers the spare room at her place because everyone's got mansions in Maine.
Visit Maine.com.
I mean, it's not a big city. She has a gorgeous apartment. Like,
very, very atmospheric.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's like, this is Snow White's apartment. Like, shocker.
In the woods, lots of glass, etc. Flashback to the past, we see the unconscious Prince Charming has a scar on his chin from where Snow White girl-bossed him by throwing a rock at him to get away.
So, fun fact, the scar that Charming gets from Snow White hitting him with the rock is actually a scar that Josh Dallas has in real life.
Oh.
Which I thought that I was like, wow, do they have to like put that on every episode? And I was like, no, like he just actually has a scar right there. That's neat. Really, really clever.
I didn't notice it in the first episodes, but now that
it's not like super noticeable.
Now that they threw the rock at him and made the point of it, it's like, oh, yeah, it's there.
Yeah, I really thought that was so cool.
Snow White reads to the prince Mary reads to the unconscious prince to remind him and show Henry that fairy tales are just that. Just fairy tales. Mary is in the hospital, and for some reason, all the lights are out. It may be night, but, like, someone is in there.
It's nighttime in the coma ward.
Yeah. Which has a glass wall separating it from the rest of the patients.
I wonder if this character is important.
So, she is reading, like, the first 2 pages of Snow White, and...
Her Snow White.
Her Snow White. And all of a sudden, he reaches and grabs her, and there's a sharp, dramatic stab like this is a horror movie.
Yeah.
I'm like, that is very out of place.
He, grabs her.
Yes! With a death grip.
Yeah, he just goes for it.
She calls a doctor over. His name is Dr. Whale.
Mm-hmm.
Monstro?
I was really excited to see who you thought he is. You're not gonna know.
Okay,
I'm not gonna tell you,
not
but
Monstro.
No, I'm not saying it's not Monstro.
Okay.
I'm just saying that I was wondering who you were gonna call him as.
I mean, Monstro, Whale Monstro. It's not always a 1-to-1 because, like, Jiminy Cricket is a person and therapist, but
the worst therapist.
The worst therapist. But we will figure out at some point, I assume, because he calls Regina immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Prince catches Snow White in a net outside of her tree log home, and he is just kind of nagging on her.
I do want to just touch. You said tree log home. It's not a log cabin. She is living in a big felled tree.
Yes. Sorry, she is living in the hollow
Yeah.
of a tree trunk.
Which I had a note that I didn't mention earlier when Snow White walks up to Emma in the car, and it's like, damn girl, you live like this.
Oh, yeah.
And I had the exact same thought when Charming finds her Snow White's living, damn girl, you live like this. Like, it's, you know, the stories play off of each other.
You know, art imitates life.
Yes, sure.
So Snow White is a fugitive for crimes against the Queen.
Mm-hmm.
But in the original story, wasn't Snow White already a princess? I don't remember if she was related to the Evil Queen, but...
In the original story, the Evil Queen was her mother. But that the common story is, like, stepmother.
Okay.
Like, that's, like, Evil Queen married Snow White's father. And I think that's, like, the common, like... Because, like, the original Grimm was, like, it was her actual mother, and it was, like, everything became way darker because it was, like, oh, her mother wants to cut her heart out and kill her. Which is wild, actually.
Her actual heart. And so, I guess, don't know if that is true or not in this version of the story, but she is now an outlaw for crimes against the Queen.
Mm-hmm.
So, just very, okay, what is that?
Yeah, you could, and like, it's, there's definitely something, and I really like what they did here. They're playing their cards really close to their chest, because, like, shocker, you will find out more about that feud in a later episode.
Yeah, there are a few nods towards it later in this episode.
Yeah, I think where, like, Snow White says, like, well, I did kill him, or something. It was something like that.
Something like that. I've got the notes
yeah, we'll
that
get to it, I'm sure.
Very quotable line. But for now, they're talking about how it's a marriage of convenience between Snotty Blonde and Prince Charming, who Snow White will only call him Prince Charming now.
My note was she's really trying to make Charming happen.
Yes. Very sarcastic.
She says it so many times.
Make sure you get it.
She just keeps turning to the mic. You get that? Did we get that? Was that okay? Good. Okay, cool. We can move on.
But I guess his kingdom is going to be taken over by hers, so that's why he is marrying into the family to prevent that. Mm-hmm. We know how that turns out, so what's going to happen?
Also, I'm really interested. Who do you think Catherine is?
We don't know her name yet.
Well, we don't know her fairy tale name yet. We know her real. I'm really interested. Who do you think she is?
Let's see. Let's go with, like, for Blonde, my first thought is Cinderella, but, like, that's not how that story happens. It could be Aurora, because Maleficent's already been brought in, or it could just be a villain from another story. But, that's kind of the direction that I'm thinking of at the moment. Otherwise, I'm just like, Oh no, it could be one of the stepsisters from Cinderella. There we go, that's my call. One of the stepsisters from Cinderella.
Stay tuned.
So, back to the present. Mary is talking and she has a real halo effect behind her. She is standing in front of a window in the diner.
I didn't notice that, but I did love, like, Emma's talking to Henry before Mary Margaret shows up, and she's like, don't get your hopes up. Like, it's probably nothing. He probably didn't wake up. Because it's like, she's just reading a book to a guy in a coma, and Snow White comes in and he woke up! Like, immediately. Yes. Like, there was no dramatic tension there. It was just like, don't get your hopes up. He woke up. Oh my god, we have to go.
Immediately. But when they get back to the hospital after the diner, John Doe's not there. He's missing. And Doctor moves aside. It's Regina.
Oh, yeah. It's like, if you weren't aware, who could possibly be behind this?
Who could? We find out the history is that Regina found John Doe on the side of the road, unconscious.
Big quotation marks around all of this.
Yeah. Found is a strong word, pulling a lot of weight. That's why she is his emergency contact. And we see Leroy there again. Leroy. I don't know why I love Leroy as a character. I love him so much. I stan him.
His actor is so good. I'm very excited for you to learn more about him because like he does have a full episode devoted to him.
Really?
It's a good one. That is like specifically one of the really, really great episodes too.
Oh,
so,
good for Grumpy.
Yeah, no, he's great. Like I think I thought at first he was like an auto mechanic because he's talking to Geppetto, who I think is actually an auto mechanic, but they both have like those work shirts on that have their name like on the patch. And I guess he's a janitor at the hospital, apparently.
He's a janitor everywhere, I guess, because he was also a janitor at the at the police station.
No, he was in the drunk tank.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was in the police station, right?
Right, no, he was there. I think he was arrested for being drunk.
Oh.
Yeah, no, he wasn't working there, because when Emma woke up, he was in the cell right next to her.
Gotcha.
But yeah, no, also, the other thing, when they're going over the security footage at the hospital, I did love that Sleepy was
later I've got the other notes
guy.
for that. Next we have Snow White and Prince Charming back in the past, walking through the woods, and he asks about the dangly jewelry between her titties that she's playing with constantly.
Yeah, I'm not thinking about this. What are you talking about? This is an important plot thing.
We see and find out that is Chekhov's fairy dust, but from a bad fairy.
From a dark fairy.
Yes. Possibly Maleficent. It's the only bad fairy that might know of.
Stay tuned.
Quote, it transforms the most fearsome of adversaries into a form that's easily squashed. And she's trying to just escape to another realm. And she wants to get away from the queen.
I think she's going at Regina with that.
I'm sorry?
I got the impression that Snow White was going after Regina with the dark fairy dust.
She says that she wants to save it for someone special, but she also says that she's living in the woods trying to save up enough to escape to another realm.
So it's almost like an insurance policy. Like, if the queen comes to get her, she has that.
But, like, when they say realm, and when she says realm, it sounds like capital R realm.
It is, it's not a spoiler, it is capital R realm.
Okay, so capital R realm. Mm-hmm. That puts a few puzzle pieces into place. That explains why we're going from medieval European to modern Maine.
Visit Maine.com.
So, there we go.
It's interesting.
It's not all the same world, as opposed to kingdom, alternate universes, etc. Now, this is where that quote is. Quote, she blames me for ruining her life. Did you? ... Yes. Mm-hmm. And she just walks off camera.
It's very put a pin in that. We'll get back to that later.
They need to get a drink. Snow White stops in the river. Prince leans down to get a drink right next to her, and she girl bosses him again in the river.
Pushes him in, runs away.
And he is just aghast that this girl could do that again.
Wow, I got double-crossed again?
Why is he so horny for this? As she's running away, she runs into the Black Knights, and they have so much makeup on. They look like they are from Panic at the Disco.
Yeah, the one time... This is, like, I think the first time we've seen any of the Queen's Knights without the balaclava over their face.
Yep. And she is now without her fairy dust because the prince took it, teasing her like a schoolyard bully. Back to the present, Emma has always been searching for people, and it's why it became her career. Mary is prying, what made you start? Your parents? Oh, Henry told me all about it. Like, if she weren't being so earnest, it would be really sarcastic.
Yeah, right.
And I kind of love it. Henry comes up, escaping from Regina, who...
she cannot keep hold of this child.
No.
Like, he literally just always sneaks out. And they're always like, why are you here? Your mother will kill us. Go back to her. And he's like, no. And they're like, okay.
I love just a little bit later in the episode, Emma's like, why are you here? Your mom will kill me, then you, then me, then you, then me, then you, then me, then you, then me again.
Which she doesn't realize how true that is because she doesn't believe Henry yet. Regina will absolutely kill her, bring her back to life, and then kill her again.
Because she can.
Yes, because it's a mood.
Henry says to Mary, he's looking for you, because Prince Charming is walked out of the hospital all on his own.
Also, are we at the part where they're in the woods yet?
Yes.
Okay. I love how you did not mention that the sheriff is there at all.
I mean...
like, he's there. He does not do much.
Exactly.
But, he's there.
He just kind of exists. He's not actually doing anything. He's not really talking. He's not part of the conversation.
He's not Sherlock Holmes.
Not Sherlock Holmes. And they're just looking for the prince. It cuts now back to the other realm. There's a sword fight. He throws a knife, sticks it in the back of the one Black Knight that's trying to kill Snow White. And the other one starts pulling out his sword, and the third one is just kind of like trotting back and forth on his horse.
Yeah, he's just like strafing, in case anyone needs to be strafed.
Or in case any spare Snow Whites try to run away, so he can grab her, throw her over the horse like a barrel of hay.
Yeah, it is very running. That.
And then Prince Charming shoots him. But, one shot, one kill.
Yeah, from very far away.
And closing one eye, which doesn't actually increase your accuracy.
Yeah, it's that, whole Errol Flynn, thing that he's got going. But it is, he is very far away, closes one eye to make this bow and arrow shot. And,
perfectly. On a moving target.
Yeah.
200 yards away. Perfect shot.
Mm-hmm. So, I did find out that in the scene where Snow White is captured by the henchmen, Jennifer Goodwin, one of the horses ran into her, which sent her, flying away with injuries to her hand and her face. She had to go to the emergency room to get stitches, and then was able to come back to work. So in most of the shots where she's in the net, you only see the left side of her face.
Oh,
because
my gosh.
The other side is hidden by her hood, which had stitches on her eye.
Shit. And
they were like, we should not show. They were like, should we break? And she's like, no, we can just cover it up. And she also filmed the half of the episode with an injured left hand.
Oh, wow.
Which is there's some action sequences in this. So it's good for, Jennifer Goodwin, also an incredible actress, as I know later.
Back in the present, we see that the gang comes across John Doe's patient tag with blood on it. Then back to the past. Snow White and the prince cross the troll bridge, and we see that the trolls are climbing the bridge. They have very green skin, and you need to pay them off with money. So, was this written by J.K. Rowling? Are these actually goblins?
Got it! Got it! Got it!
I mean, yeah.
Then we see them up close and the real mask that they're wearing.
Yeah, I did make a note. I love a good troll under a bridge. Keeps them off the internet. But, this was... welcome to some of these special effects that it's when you can tell that it's not a real practical effect, you can tell.
Oh boy, which is better, this mask or the deer at the start?
I mean, this mask, it's a practical effect. This was an actual thing that they put on someone instead of, here's JPEG GIF of a deer that we could just paste on this trail.
Fair. Prince gets into a sword fight with the leader of the trolls, kicks him, Sparta kicks them into the canyon that's below the bridge, and he just falls into that CGI canyon.
Yeah, just full okay, so what we're gonna have is you're gonna lay down on the ground, we have a camera above you, the camera's gonna get pulled up, and you just wave your hands and arms as we zoom further away from you, which is you falling off the bridge. It was very that vibe.
And then, as the prince is getting overwhelmed, all of a sudden, puff of smoke and a cockroach appears. Snow White brings the fairy dust, the evil fairy dust.
So the scene, the specific shot where Snow White throws the fairy dust, I don't know if you know this, but it was filmed 2.5 months after they shot this episode, and you could tell it was a different, they clearly green screened her, and it was so awkward, because the rest of the thing is they're clearly on an actual set of an actual bridge. Mm-hmm. like probably on some other green screen, but like the shot where like she actually like throws the dust.
Oh.
It is like, oh, mama, she's green screened.
I did not pay that much attention.
Oh yeah, it was filmed after principal photography was finished, and my note was, "And mama, you could tell."
She uses the dust, all of the dust, on the remaining trolls, and so Prince comments, "I thought you were saving that for the queen. I'll think of something else." And that's the end of that story. Mm-hmm. Oh, and here is where we find out that Prince Charming has an actual name. Despite, like, he says it, I don't believe it. But
yeah,
now,
I will only ever call him Prince Charming.
Prince. His actual first name is James. No last name. Still charming. Just James Charming.
Yeah, it's that era of, like, fairy tales where it's like, they don't give the kings... it is the royal family. It's not like there's multiple royal families. So that is one of the weird things when, like, it's Once Upon a Time and, like, all these big royal families are in the same fairy tale universe. And it's like, the king, but which king? There's 20 of them.
Very. The story is actually about the child anyway. The parents are about 3 pages from dying. Back in the present, we pan over to a sign that says Toll Bridge with an R scrawled on it. Troll Bridge. Oh my gosh, the connections!
My note that I took here was, I wonder if the trolls post-curse are just goth kids that rave down by the Troll Bridge
oh my god!
Storybrooke. I really hope that's the case. Just like that video of like the raving kids in the underpass.
Yeah. Yes. No, these are the trolls that actually did go online.
No, of course they're online in Storybrooke because they can go to who'syourmama.com where Henry found out where his mom is. And we didn't touch on this, that episode. I did have a note about it. That is a real website that you can go to that redirects to abc.com. It's like they bought the domain for that.
They knew
100%.
They knew how the internet would work.
Mm-hmm.
They find John Doe. He's unconscious, and Mary is giving him CPR. But I have a question for you, Bob. Mm-hmm. How did he swallow water in this river that can't even clear the rocks at the bottom of the stream?
This is a brook.
Yeah.
It's high tide. I mean, to be completely fair though, they are in Maine. In a like big port, not big, but like a port city essentially, like a fishing city. I don't know anything about how water works other than it helps me when I'm thirsty. But I think it's reasonable enough to imagine that when it is high tide, the river is probably a little more dense.
Okay, but you saw how high the river was. There was no stepping on stones to cross. They were walking across the stones, and there was some water that almost reached the top of the stones.
There's a drought. Is a freak drought in the middle of Storybrooke in Maine. Who could have thought?
After they find him, they bring him back with CPR, and they bring him...
Also, Jennifer Goodwin in that CPR scene, I was like, it got me. It actually really got me. I was like, oh, she's a great actress. Like, she sold that. And one of the things I did find out, for the part when Mary Margaret revives David, Jennifer Goodwin was taught CPR by a medic on set. But apparently it looked bad on camera because CPR just kind of looks bad on camera. Like, it's not as dramatic as you expect it to be. Mm-hmm. So Jennifer Morrison, who plays Emma, who was on House, taught Jennifer Goodwin how they did CPR on House to make it look way more dramatic. And I thought that was really cool.
That is cool.
'Cause it took me there. I was like, whoa, this is like peak medical drama nonsense.
I mean, no. Peak is that scene from One Tree Hill. That's where the medical drama is.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's what the sheriff was doing, walking with, like, a styrofoam cooler with a heart.
Back to the hospital, they're wheeling John Doe in on a bed into the same room that he was in. And some blonde, the Ricky Lindholm, runs in, past everyone into the room, and it takes so long for the doctors to be like, no, you shouldn't be here.
Yeah.
The nurses close the doors very pointedly on the rest of the group. Ricky Lindholm runs in, and she's like, no, I must be here. And they're like,
Don't trust doctors. They're all on the Evil Queen's payroll.
Yeah.
Clearly, Dr. Whale called her. He's a snitch.
Yes, he absolutely... We saw that earlier.
He cannot be in Operation Mongoose. Or Operation
Cobra.
Cobra.
Yes, Operation Cobra is to help everyone regain their memories.
Yeah.
Behind the Ricky Lindholm is Regina. She appears very...
smug.
Oh, hi. Bet you thought you were done with me.
Oh, bet you saw the last of me.
She introduces Ricky Lindholm as his wife, Catherine Nolan, and he is now David Nolan. Very convenient timing. Catherine's story is weird. He has been in a coma for years, and she, I guess, assumed he was dead or left. Cops couldn't find him and connect to him because a cab. So how did she find him now? No one requires any documentation for her to verify that she is his wife so that she can be in this ward.
It's on Regina's word. Of course. Of course that's actually his wife.
It's all very weird, but of course, for the sake of the story, it's supposed to be weird and suspicious.
And everyone is like, huh. Everyone of the main characters, like even the sheriff is like you can see him in like the background of a shot, like he's not buying this. This seems weird and fishy.
Yeah.
And like he's on Regina's side.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know about this.
He's the bad guy who's actually good, but is trying to work from within the law.
Oh, he's the Lori Lightfoot.
I said work within the law.
Well, yeah, no. Lori Lightfoot when she was campaigning.
I said the good guy. Then we see Mary still has the ring that Prince Charming gave to Snow White. And so for a second, I'm like, wait a minute. If she's wearing that ring, doesn't she know that she was married? Then I realized that I guess she's wearing the ring on her middle finger instead of her ring finger.
Yeah, she's not wearing it as like a wedding ring.
So I guess somehow the ring switched fingers.
That curse does some stuff.
It does.
It takes everyone from the land of fairy tales to Maine. And it takes one ring. One ring.
This is the
one ring.
From one finger to the one right next to it.
You gotta do the little things.
The devious Regina.
It is all about the details. The episode then ends with Emma coming up to Mary's apartment, asking if she has her... Yes.
We missed that conversation between Regina and Emma, where Emma fully calls Regina on her bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
Where she's like...
It wasn't very quotable, so I didn't write it down.
Yeah, it wasn't very quotable, but she's like, no, this isn't... Like, she's the only one that actually says to Regina that, like, this is bullshit. This is, like, I'm new to this town, and this seems too fishy. I'm sticking around.
She actually picks up what we were putting down about how suspicious everything is.
Right, yeah. I mean, I just imagine, like, Regina and Catherine walking to the hospital like John Ralphio and Mona Lisa in Parks and Rec. Don't be suspicious.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be
And they're just failing miserably.
I can't not picture that now. It is too perfect. The episode then does end with Emma asking to stay in Mary's spare room. So now she's living with her mommy.
Roommates.
Yes. Finally, the credits mention Sleepy, and we figure out, and we get to put together that is Walter, the night security guard at the hospital.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really thought that, like, it's like the night guardsman is just, like, going through the tape at the hospital, and he's just, like, obvious yawn. It's like, oh, I wonder who that is. Mm-hmm. Like, I wonder which one of the dwarves that is.
I think that's only two of the dwarves that we have specifically been told who they are.
Yeah, who we've found in Storybrooke. Like, we've seen all of them in the fairy tale world. Yes. But we haven't seen all of them yet in Storybrooke.
Correct. And it's just Grumpy and Sleepy.
And they will, obviously keep popping up. One thing that we didn't touch on, I think we glossed over it earlier, was in, like, the very beginning... when Snow White ambushes the carriage, when she's running away, I think she, like, steals one of Charming's horses and rides away.
Yes.
And, Charming yells after her, wherever you are, I will find you. I promise you. And I was like, that's really clever, because that's what he said to her with the curse. And that's like kind of their thing that they always go back to. It's like, wherever you are, I will find you. But it's like, but that's for love. Like this, I thought that was a really nice subversion of that meet cute of them.
I like it. And that is the episode.
Yeah. So what do you think?
I thought it was fun. It was a neat way to tie their origin as a couple together and into the modern day.
Yeah, I really like the subversion that they do of, like, the classic Snow White, Prince Charming, meet cute. Like, it's much more dynamic.
They actually met before she was unconscious.
Right, yeah, he didn't just, oh, this is a beautiful woman, I have to kiss her in this coffin.
After she's been in, like, this death-like state for 100 years.
You know. Yeah, no, they change a lot of stuff. But yeah, I really liked the subversion of that. I mean, yes. as they continue to do that, I'm like, yeah, I like when they do an interesting twist on the story we already know.
Regina still kind of acts the shit out of everything.
Of course.
And has the best one-liners.
I think this is the first episode where we don't see the evil queen.
The evil queen, but we do see Regina.
Yeah, we see Regina, but we don't see the evil queen. I think this is the first episode of that.
Yes. Yeah, it is correct. The next episode is The Price of Gold.
Right, yeah. And what do you think that one's going to be about? Because if you remember, I think when we were talking about Snow Falls, you thought it was going to be about, like, Snow White, like...
An exploration of Snow White.
Which, correct, yeah. So you're on par with that one. What do you think Price of Gold's going to be?
The exploration of Mr. Gold.
Character we haven't seen much of.
No.
Like, he's showed up mysteriously a few times at Storybrooke, but...
Give us more Rumpelstiltskin. Please.
I think you might be in luck for that next week.
Good. I've been looking forward to it in his sweatiness.
Yeah, it's definitely sweat. It's not makeup. Like, that's just he's just it's like 90 degrees in the fairy tale land and
in that dungeon.
Yeah, in the dungeon. He was doing push-ups on the ceiling, I can only assume. But yeah, generally kind of a evil queen and Henry light story. I mean, it's Snow White and Prince Charming. This is their little spotlight.
Yes.
So, thank you for staying with us. You can rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever else you get your podcasts.
You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at NotEvenOncePod. Linktree is in the bio.
You can follow me on Twitter at TheKidAin'tRight.
You can follow me on Twitter at Recycled Sarcasm.
And you can email us if you want to talk more about the show at notevenoncepod@gmail.com. And if you're so interested, you can also join our Discord and talk with us about the show there.
Thank you very much.